You're kicking it with G on your favorite station.
The perfect station.
92 KELZ, the only station with new music, new artists, new sound.
On Kicking It Radio with your girl, Hey Charlie.
And your boy, G Casso.
Yes, on 92 KELZ, the home of new music, new artists, new sound.
Wah, 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 wah.
There you go. Yay. It worked perfectly. So we are here in studio with an amazing guest today. This month, we are talking about preparation, planning, and making sure that you devise a plan and the importance of a plan.
Definitely.
To not just personal life, but to your company, your brand. We have the one and only Latoya Hurley.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm
Thank
excited
you.
to be here.
How you
Thank
doing?
you for coming in.
I'm good.
See, this is when we need them sound effects, get that clapping audience in the background. For real.
Oh my God.
So, Latoya, okay, so you are the creative director, CEO, and founder of Innovative Marketing?
That is correct.
That is amazing.
Multiple hats.
See, she's just already, she's
Multiple
boss.
hats.
She a boss. She a boss. But let us know a little bit about who you are before we even get into
Definitely.
all of what you do. Where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Houston.
You a H-Town girl.
However,
What side of town?
She said-
I
however.
identify with New Orleans because that's where I grew up at.
What?
Hold on now. We can't have
I
that.
feel it. I was born in
It's
Houston
gonna either be a
too.
either-
Look, see, I get it because I was born in Houston too, but I was
identify.
raised in Austin, so I get to flex between the two.
If
Nah,
everyone
you
else,
from
I
Austin.
identify as a New Orleanian.
See?
And so that is where my roots are. That is where I went to school at. Came back to Houston in 2003, and I've been here ever since.
That's what's up.
Wow.
That's what's up.
So what? Okay, so you have a very extensive background though, so in multiple things.
Yeah.
What was the road and the path leading you to marketing and
Yeah.
starting your business?
Actually, coming to Houston led me to figuring out exactly what I wanted to do. When I relocated to Houston, I literally packed up as much as I could get in my car and came. And so people are like, wow. I'm like, and to be honest, that has kind of been the story of my life. If I don't rip the Band-Aid off, I'll never do it.
Yeah.
So it's like you see my life in these dramatic phases. They're like, you did what? You quit the job? Like, yes, I quit the job. So quit my job, gave 2 weeks notice, came to Houston with as much as I could fit in my car, and it was just me and my 1-year-old at the time. And a year later, started at Waste Management working.
Okay.
Went in as a contractor. Had no idea what I wanted to do. I went to college, and my mom was in the hospital industry. And so she's like, nursing, medical field is where you're always going to have a job.
Always gonna have a job.
You've
yeah.
got to go. So I went to school for a year, did that. And I was like, I hate this. I failed chemistry.
What?
I bet, and let me not say failed. I got a D. But if anybody that's ever taking nursing, all of your core classes, you
The
have to
science
have
classes.
a certain grade. And
Yeah.
so that wasn't going to work. I took anatomy. I'm like, this is not my thing. This is not for me. And came here and started working there. And I'm like, I love this. I love the interaction with people. And even though it wasn't like a true marketer, it was on the governmental affairs side.
Okay.
I was exposed to so much knowledge and information that I was like, I think I found my calling. This is what I want to do. And so I worked there for 5 years until I was laid off. But ever since then, I was like, this is what I want to do. And it has gradually evolved into the PR side of things. There was a PR element, but for the most part, we had a book of business that we maintained within my group. All of the HOAs and MUDs and things like that you saw at Waste Management, we maintained that book of business, and there was a PR element. But when you work for a major corporation, you have the support of a full PR team, so we did the marketing piece. But
And that was your start?
that was my start.
I'm
but
like,
I'm giving you
golly.
like
I'm just like, that was your start?
So we just kind of fell
Like,
into
how
a
did
great
we
job.
get to,
Okay.
you know
No,
what I mean?
wait, let me backtrack. So when they brought me in as a contractor, because a lot of people hear that, and you're right. They're like, that was your start? When I came in as a contractor, they had me literally pushing papers. They had a new software, and they're like, we need you to read all these contracts and load all this data. So I did data entry. I need you to load all this data into our database. And so I'm just combing through contracts, hence how I learned the business. And it's so important, no matter how small the opportunity is, to take it seriously, that I started reading through, absorbing the information, and would ask questions and say, well, what does this mean? Or how does this translate into how we service the customers? And I took a strong interest in learning about the business, which then correlated into them hiring me. So it wasn't just I started doing governmental affairs. I started uploading their contracts, doing data entry, and then they hired me because I went the extra mile.
So how did you know yourself that the field of marketing instead of sales or human resources was your
because you had all those opportunities.
Because it was a lot
in front of you.
Yeah. I just knew that I didn't, and let me not say I didn't. Sales is a whole different monster. And so marketing is more relational. Sales is very aggressive, and you have to be out there. And so I do have a salesperson to some extent mentality. But the marketing piece of it, which was getting out here and doing product launches and things like that, where you could, it's not just a one and done, but there is a progression and life cycle where you see that vision come to pass. So whatever this product is, we get to see it from inception all the way, from an idea all the way to inception. That was the part that I'm like, I like this.
Yeah.
This is the part that I enjoy. And even with the contracts, it was relational. We get to have these contracts that we've worked with these clients for 10 years and show up and continue to maintain that and build the relationships. And we went through so much transition. I think it was Hurricane Ike. I can reflect back on those times and thinking we went into the office a week after, and the city was still in wreckage. Everything was still, lights were out. And to have to go through that process and how we service the customers and how we were able to help, that was the part that made me come alive. And that was actually when I realized PR was an element that I wanted to add, because there was we need to make sure that we do right by our customers.
Yeah.
But marketing was it. Marketing and PR was it.
That's dope.
That's crazy. So okay, so what is one misconception that a lot of people have when it comes to marketing? Because I think a lot of people think when they conceive the idea of marketing, it's like, oh, I gotta go on social media, maybe buy some flyers, and like that's, because there's so many people. It's New Year, right? So everybody's got this new resolution, like, oh, I want to start a business, I want to do this, and so in their mind, they're like, I'm gonna get a social media page, and I'm gonna get some flyers, and then my business will grow. What is the misconception as far as starting out with marketing?
So I'm gonna take a step back and address your question. Without vision, the people will perish.
Okay.
Faith without work is dead. This goes into any concept.
Facts.
So
You gotta say that again.
yeah,
You gotta say that again.
she slid by it. She's like,
Yeah,
she
you
just
gotta say
gave
that
us
one
a
more
whole
time.
sermon and just slid by it. Without work is dead.
For real though.
Let's just put this out there real quick, because
Definitely.
you hit the nail on the head. Just because you started the social media page doesn't mean that the people will come.
Definitely
You have
does not.
done no work.
Zero.
Just because you hire me and you have zip zero to show to your audience, the people will not come.
Yeah.
You have to have a basis of something to work with. So the social media page, the website, these are foundational things. These are necessities. They are a must-have, but they are not going to ultimately bring the people to the yard. And so I always tell people, when I think about my own business, yes, I have a social media page. Yes, I have a good following. But yes, I have a website. Those are not the things that people come, because I still got to go out here and do the work. So they come and they ask me, I need case studies. I need proof of work. I need things that you have done. So when you talk about marketing and you want to hire somebody, think about, what have I done? What is my budget? Because what I have done will play into what budget I need to have in order to achieve the results that I would like to get. And so if I'm in startup phase, you need a fairly large budget. If you would like to be a Fortune 500 company within a year and have the audience of a Fortune 500 company. And so just setting realistic expectations, thinking about where am I at and where am I trying to go, which is without vision, the people will perish.
I got off of what you were saying right there, like, just to break it down to simple terms, because I try to put everything down so everybody can understand it. What
Marketing
is
for dummies.
like, what is actually considered work? What is something that is actually, that I know that is valuable, that I know that I have something in my arsenal?
So what is considered work? Work is I built the website. I've gone out and I've started, if I don't have a budget to hire a marketer, I've gone out and gotten flyers printed. I've put out a message. I've started doing things to actually build up my audience. So whether that is you've identified that your target audience is going to be at trade shows or you doing vending opportunities, you started to do the necessary footwork or grassroots work to build up your following base and audience so people know about you. And so those are the things that you can do. When you first start out, your friends and family are going to be the people that support you.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Facts.
And truth. Or
Facts.
if they are not, who are in. And it's funny that you say that. There is, and I'm hoping he's on live, there is a gentleman that follows me, and he is overseas. And I swear we are like family. But whomever is going to support you, because I think sometimes we get caught up on my friends and family are not supporting me. And it's like, who cares? Focus on the people that are supporting you. Go out there and get your products into the hands of the people and start to build your audience. No matter where you're at, that is something that you can do on your own. Because if you try to get a consultant to do it, you're going to pay more. And so with each industry, how you go about building that audience is going to be different. So in my case, if I had come fresh out of school and had no PR experience, I need to look at internships. I need to look at partnering or going to work for other companies so I can get that experience if I wanted to go out and freelance. Each industry is going to be different. If you have a product and you're trying to sell that product, let's just, to make it simplistic, I want to sell a hair product. We know that there are a multitude of different vending opportunities in the hair industry.
Yep.
The big conference that takes place in Atlanta. You want to start attaching yourself to these things and getting your product out there and into the hands of people. And sometimes, and it's funny because there's this movement of people that say, oh, I want everybody to purchase my stuff. You know, yes, yeah. And I agree with that. You do want people to purchase your stuff. But when I was in corporate, I had $1 million budget of stuff to give away because we wanted for people to have things from a branding perspective. So there needs to be realistic expectations because if you talk to these Fortune 500 companies, and I've worked for more than one. So I worked in transportation, then I also worked in oil and gas. They have a budget specifically for promotions and marketing where they are giving things away.
Yeah.
So that people can touch, because we're in a time where you want to touch and feel, where they can touch, taste, feel the product,
Try
which
before you
draws
buy.
people in. Exactly. And then they come back and they purchase it.
Yeah.
Set realistic expectations. And so that's what marketing looks like. You're going to have to give some stuff away. You're going to have to get out here if you don't have a budget to pay someone and shake hands, as I like to say, and kiss babies.
I mean, don't kiss my baby. But y'all can kiss somebody else, baby. I don't know. Hey, she just gave y'all $1 million.
She literally did. She just was dropping some
game.
gems.
For real.
No,
though.
but okay, so
Big
that's
facts.
that's the one misconception that people have when it comes to starting out. I think the biggest thing is most people come with a big dream,
Yeah.
but they don't want to have the reality check. And I don't know if it's during the stage of reality check that they start getting defeated. So then, because I'm that person, like it was like, I can do this. I know I can do this. And then I have to set out in front of me because I believe in, writing out a business plan.
Yeah.
I believe in the business plan.
Yes.
I don't care. No one says I believe in it. And I got that from you too. Write it all down.
Yes.
But even in that process, most people end up getting doubt. They start getting fearful of the dream itself. Because at first it's beautiful, but we see in our mind,
You know what?
when we're dreaming of it, we see the big thing, the moment where everybody's like, I love it, I love it, I love it. But they don't think about the moment where it's people are like,
I don't even think it's a dream. I think they scared of the work.
Yes.
Because once you get to the start where you man, this is a lot, bro. I can't do it.
Yeah, I think it is the work. It is the work. So what would you say to those people who, in the moment when they finally sit down and start creating the plan, they start coming out with the vision, what do you tell them when it starts becoming too much for them?
Yeah.
The work itself.
Go to work. And when I say go to work, if being an entrepreneur is too much for you, then you need to go work for someone else.
Ooh.
And
That's
I'm going to be
facts.
honest.
That's facts.
I'm going to be honest.
That is facts.
Because I have done both.
Yeah.
So we are in a time where self-care is extremely important.
Yeah.
However, self-care does not mean you stop working 100%.
Yeah.
Self-care means you take a day, you take a few hours, you evaluate what triggers and what's the best way for you to absorb information. If you want to get the most productivity out of me, I'm a morning person. So between the hours of 4 and 12, you will get the most productivity when it comes down to writing and things like that.
Yeah.
But if being an entrepreneur is too hard, go back to work. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I tell people, entrepreneurship is not for everyone.
No.
Hey, that's
No.
hey,
That,
hey, like I'm only
in
thinking
therapy.
like,
I'm like,
oh my God, I'm just
we're in
like,
therapy.
You wasn't expecting that.
because I'm just like, to be an entrepreneur and then for somebody to tell you, hey, go back to work. Hey, I'm cut.
You see how that, but
Like,
it makes you, and let me say this, and I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Either A, you're going to rise to the occasion.
hey, no. Hey.
Hello. Either A, you're going to rise to the occasion, or B, you're going to go back to work, which says this was never for you.
Ooh.
And so sometimes, because I mentor, I got to deliver some tough messages. And when I've done everything from mentor to sit in the corporate office at the round table with execs, you got to deliver tough messages. And you can't sugarcoat things for folks and say, well, you know, baby, even though you see them failing, it's going to be okay. No.
That's how she just gave me a confirmation. That's how I know I'm destined for greatness, because I don't sugarcoat nothing.
No,
I'm
there's
giving
a
it
difference.
straight
I'm sorry,
to you.
let's get this straight.
I'm
There's
giving
a
it straight
difference
to you.
between giving them a tough peel of reality so that they can grow versus getting it off of your brain, off of your mind, because you just want to let somebody know how you feel.
Indeed.
Hold on, time out.
There's a difference.
Do y'all see how she just tried to play me?
I did. I had to put
Like-
it in.
Now, it has to come from a place of love.
I'm not
I
even that
love-
person. She know I'm not even that
Nah,
person.
I'm messing with you. I'm messing with
See?
you. I'm messing with you.
And they
So-
call me the bad guy.
No, but I like what you said. Like you have to let them know. Okay, this is the reality of it. This is
Yeah.
what the work that you have to put in to get to where you are going.
Absolutely.
Have you ever had like a client or because you take on clients, right? You take on
Yes.
different types of clients.
Absolutely.
Have you ever had a client that once you gave them the truth, they just didn't want to accept it?
Oh, absolutely.
Big facts.
And so, without giving too much detail, without giving too
Story
much
time.
detail, it is. I had a client that didn't like my answer, and like I said, you have to deliver some tough messages. And instead of them taking the constructive criticism and let's come up with a new action plan, they decided I want to cancel the contract, and did some other things that I would deem as unethical. In an attempt to try to get their money back for the services that have been rendered.
Okay.
And so it's one of those things where stand by your truth. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. A part of the reason that your pay is what it is because you're the expert. And if they were the expert, then why did they hire you?
Oh.
No, that's fact.
No,
I say
no,
that all the
that
time.
is so real.
I
That
say
is
that
so
all the
real.
time. Don't
And so
call
you
me.
have to be, a lot of times you have a lot of consultants that when the client comes in and they're angry and they're upset, they backtrack on what they said. And it's like, no, stand behind what you said.
Yeah.
You are the expert.
Yeah.
I could lay out my credentials and tell you how I've worked with $1 million budgets, but you know that because you hired me. And so some of it is, yes, there are going to be some things that happen that will be learning opportunities, but I'm telling you based on my over 15 years of experience in doing this, that this has been where we've seen the best results. Does one size fit all? Absolutely not. But I can give you from a statistical side of things, the likelihood that this is going to work. And so I keep it very simple. I stand by it. And then also I turn down business. If clients come to me and have unrealistic expectations, and this is also something that you have to follow your gut. The same client in question, I actually turned them down a couple of times.
Oh.
And then when they came to me the last time, it seemed like it was going to be a great fit. And then things spiraled the way that they did. And I kept saying in my gut,
That sounds like a
You already
relationship.
know. It does.
and it is a relationship. So keep this, when you are working with clients, it is a relationship. We
That
in a
is fair.
relationship together because in
Yeah.
order for this to work, there's things that I'm going to need for you to do. So you're going to have to work, as they say, you got to put in work and maintain and water this relationship versus there's going to be things that I do. And the things that you do feed directly into my ability to achieve results. If people go to your social media page and they can't see the vision of what we're trying to sell to them, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And so it's important that I have good synergy with my clients and we have a great working relationship in order for us to be productive in what we're trying to achieve. So absolutely it's a relationship.
She definitely rolled right into the next thing I was going to say. Because I was going to show, like, how do you know that you're working with a good PR person? Like, when you work with somebody, like, how do you know, what are some of the things that the basic guy, like, you're like, okay, she's actually on top of her game and she knows what she's talking about.
Find somebody. So there's a couple things. There are different sectors of PR. I don't do entertainment PR. I used to in the beginning of my career. And so I always tell people, even people that I mentor, find out what your niche is.
That's so hard.
Well, it is.
That's hard.
And I'm gonna it took me years to find my niche. So it wasn't like a boom, I showed up and I started working in the sector that I'm in. When I started out, I was in entertainment, and I figured out that that's not the sector that I wanted to be in. And as I did that, I had to identify who is my market, but then also it dictated, where am I going to be at? What type of events am I attending? Everything. Because where you hang out at, where you network at, will dictate who your clients are.
Ooh.
Absolutely. So it will dictate who your clients are. So if I'm going to entertainment type of events and expecting to secure nonprofit clients, the two don't mesh.
Yeah.
And so first identify the type of publicist that meets the needs of what you're trying to do.
So do your research on this person?
Yeah, do your research on the person.
Marcus Sullivan
like,
always says, do your Googles.
Yeah. Do your research. Know, does this person, because also there's a difference between a nonprofit and small business publicist versus a red carpet.
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Break it down for the people real quickly.
So red carpet, if you are an artist or actor and you want to be at the Grammys and things like that, a red carpet publicist specializes in that type of genre. Typically, they're based in New York and LA because that is where a lot of these events take place.
Production.
You want to see, because it's a lot of that stuff. So when it comes down to the Grammys, they don't sell tickets to the Grammys. It is invite only. They have some companies that fill the bleachers and seats at the Grammys. And that is you being there, not even as, I'm going to walk the carpet, but you're really there as an audience member.
Yeah.
And so you're there to clap.
That's
as if you were at a talk show. Stand up, sit down, clap. Ooh, ah.
You got the signs up. You got it. Oh, man.
But your red carpet publicist will have those contacts and relationships so that she can make a phone call to get you on that red carpet.
Yeah.
If you're not consistently booking clients in that arena, it is difficult to navigate and get your client on the red carpet. So you've got to look at and set realistic expectations. Does my PR professional have that level of experience? And then also look at yourself. Does what I've done quantify me to be on the red carpet? Because there's an amount of work that you're going to have to do. But Google search, know what type of publicist that you need. And then from there, have realistic expectations when you sit down with them. Because I will say this, a red carpet publicist is probably at the top tier when it comes down to pay. And you've got your different tiers, but she is going to be more, but she has the relationships. She can make a quick phone call and boom, you're walking the Grammy red carpet.
That's what I've always said. Just over the years of me working with people, just hopping in the entertainment industry and knowing things like you can literally do anything and get into anywhere as long as you know the right people.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Networking, relationships, you will be amazed. You will be amazed.
Yeah.
So there is one thing, because, you know, I did my Googles. I always do my Googles.
She did her Googles.
I always do my Googles. There's this quote that you live by. It is, without publicity, there is no prosperity. What does that mean?
So, you can do a lot of great things.
Gotta be seen.
Yeah. You can do
seen,
100 great things, but if nobody knows, what difference does it make? And when I say difference does it make, if you are a brand that is looking, if that's your mission, your core values, and that's how you identify with your audience, you need that information to get out. You need for people to know the great works that you're doing in the community. If you're just a regular person and that's not what you're interested in, then it doesn't matter.
See, that's the question, though, because the whole thing is to talk about planning for the new year? A lot of people have made a lot of resolutions, and there's a lot of people who want to be business owners, but they don't want to put themselves out there. How do you have one without the other? Because I guess in their brain, they think, oh, there's certain people who they put their brand out there, but they don't put their personal life out there. I always tell people when it comes to celebrities, they got to work their way all the way up to where they're at, to where they don't have to put themselves out there because everyone knows who they are.
You know what?
It's not.
And
only reason
I jump in because she beat me up about this all the time. She's like, "You do this, you don't never put nothing out. You ain't putting this out. You ain't putting that out."
No,
but
I
I'm
think
just
it's
like,
important to control the message.
I just don't. Being a business owner and thing, I just don't want to put myself out there.
But how do you? Okay, so I'm so happy that you're here.
Yeah.
Because we're talking to everyone that's like G. So G actually, for his birthday in December, actually has an actual day in Houston. A declared day in Houston. Oh. No one would have known about it had we not coerced him into it. Right? So that's the problem. Right? So to those people that are like G, what do you say? I mean, this is your lane. So how do you try to sell the message, especially to clients that reach out to you, that there is a level of vulnerability and openness that you have to make your business succeed?
Absolutely. People connect with people. People buy into the person before they will buy into the brand.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so even those brands where the person that is the founder does not put themselves out there, they have enough money to appoint a spokesperson.
Thank you. Say it again. They have enough what to appoint?
A spokesperson.
Thank you.
But you are your brand, and people buy into you, the concept of what it is that you do. Like I said, I believe it's important to control the message. Like, you can't, I'm a big proponent of, I don't get on social media and cry about things that's going on in my life. And especially not every day. It's okay to every once in a while. And I always say, if it's going to provide a lesson for somebody else, then I will share it. But I am very cautious about how I share that message. But also, if every day I showed up and I was perfect, people be like, she's not real.
They definitely would say
Exactly. Like, she's not real. Like, you have no issues. Now, I'm not going to cry every day.
They give you past and everything.
Because you got some people that you look up and you're like, well, is it a day that you're not on social media crying about something? And so you can't overdo it. But there is a certain amount of information that you're going to have to share just so people can see the authenticity about you and know that, oh, my God, okay, they go through the same issues that I do. Absolutely.
How do you stand strong to keep your following? Because once you get to a certain level, people expect you to bend to their way of thinking instead of you following your own path on the way that you are already doing. They'll tear you down by doing anything opposite of what they think.
See, I'm not a proponent of that, so you're correct. I tell people when it comes down to your following base, authenticity, sometimes you're going to lose some followers, and you may have to in order to get to the audience that you're supposed to have that connects with your content. And that's okay.
Keep evolving is what she said.
Continue evolving.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so just keep moving. Don't be phased by it. So what is the first, I know you said create the plan, write the vision, make it plain for yourself. What is the first step, though, for the person who's like, okay, that's well and good, but what is a vision, what does a plan look like for a new business? What does that look like?
So I'm going to tell you what my plan was, and
the
then I'm going to tell you what it should really look like.
Just like, here it is.
It's like, what I told you was like, in a perfect world, this is what should happen.
Yes.
So you should have a business plan. You should do your research. You should figure out all of these different things, like do the SWOT analysis and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Here's what my business plan looked like. I'm talking to some friends. They know I have marketing experience. They're like, Toya, can you help me with this? Blah, blah, blah. My brother calls me up one day and he's like, why don't you capitalize on this? Why don't you go file for your DBA? And that's how it all got started. So there was no plan. There was no write it out. And that's why I said, like, my business has gone through several layers of evolution because originally I thought, okay, I'm just going to do marketing. I didn't add the PR tier on until probably 2 or 3 years later. And then PR came about. So what it really should look like, because when I wrote the business plan, the vision was clear. And that's why I can sit here definitively and tell you from a networking perspective, in the business plan, it talks about every piece of where I'm supposed to be at. It helped me to say no. People invite you to things all the time. So when I know who my target client is, and I know, like I said, that I want to cater to nonprofits and X, Y, and Z, I don't need to go to a music conference, or I don't need to go to certain types of entertainment events, because that's not where my audience is. I need to be at, if it's an entrepreneur, the Black Chamber of Commerce or the Chamber of Commerce, and that's where I need to be looking for my clientele if I want to go the corporate arena to do PR. But the business plan will identify that. Start at the most basic level, and don't be so stuck, because people get stuck on, I got a timeline to get this done. Mm-hmm. So such and so did it in a year. Well, you don't know how long before that year they just told you, like, hey.
I ain't gonna lie. I struggle with that because when I have a vision, I done had so many visions that I waited on, didn't do anything, and I done seen somebody bring it to life. So it kind of like killed the vibe. I done had plenty of things happen like that. But that also gets the fire going. Once you lose a couple ideas, you'll start moving.
Absolutely. And see what you just said. So don't think that because you lost that one that it's over. Sometimes that's a part of your story. Like, you had to lose 2 or 3 in order for you to get your motivation to get up and go do it.
Yeah. Because you're going to lose.
Yeah. So I'm so happy that we had you here. Mainly, and the reason I get to say that is because we're a new business. Mm-hmm. Right? It's our 1-year anniversary, so we've been in it for a year. But this is a new thing for us. We had to sit down and go back to the drawing board.
Definitely. As
a unit and we wrote out our vision. We had to rewrite our demographics out. Like,
absolutely.
We literally planned. And I don't think like a lot of people realize, even if it is just a radio show, it's still a business.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right? And
definitely.
It is entertainment, but it's still a business.
Yeah.
And so like, it's really important to write out that vision, write out that plan. And that's why I'm so happy that we had you here. We're definitely going to have to have you come back. Though.
Definitely.
Because you be dropping gems and be like, yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, she got me ready to go work. Let's
right.
beat it.
I'm gonna be up all night. I'm gonna go. But this is my last question.
Absolutely.
So, being the person who gives everybody the answers and does the plans, it kind of executes everyone's plans for them. How do you find the time and the balance to work your business in your plan while also maintaining and helping others grow?
It is truly a balancing act, and you will never find the perfect formula. If you're looking for every day that I wake up and I, go down my checklist and everything gets done, it's not happening. So I have to add it into all of the items that I have. Okay. When I'm speccing out my day to say, okay, I want to accomplish this, this, and this, I have to add in a personal item, and I have to insert things that I want to personally accomplish. Mentoring is something that's extremely important to me. So even if I can't see those people every single day, once a month, start small. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be a huge step, but start small at chipping away at the things that are your personal goals, your personal business, and things like that. People always think that they have to go the whole 360, and you don't have to do that. You can start with small things and gradually work your way there. And each time, add an extra layer to it. So in year 1, I might have done 1 mentee. Year 2, I might add a second one. So now I've dedicated 2 days out of my month to give to someone else. And this started with me saying, I've got to do something to give back. Like, I need to feed my spirit. And originally I was going to go to the Boys and Girls Club, but the time requirement was so much. And I still think it's a great idea for those that have the time to do it. But I didn't want to commit to someone else's child and then disappoint them because they've had that type of disappointment. Yeah. I needed to commit to something that was realistic for me. And so that's why I'm like, you don't have to go to 360. Do something that is realistic and build on that foundation. And so add one more thing in. One of the things as a parent that I always say is no matter what's going on, anything that my kids have, I'm showing up. Mm-hmm. It's not a football game that I've ever missed. It's not my daughter did theater and all these things. I'm showing up. And that was like a personal thing that I said when I started climbing the corporate ladder and doing everything that I'm doing. Is that me? That I don't want to take away from my kids. And that's why I'm like, start small. Yeah. And it's okay. And continue to build on that momentum and know that you're constantly evolving. this is a marathon, not a sprint. Life is. There are, when you look at all of these stories, from whether it's the Bible, whether it's the guy that started KFC, they started some of these people at 50 years old. And so people think like, oh, I need to have this done by 30, and by 40, I need to be retiring. I thought that too. And it didn't work out that way.
She's like, look.
Life is funny.
For real.
I love that. Man, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Right? I love it. I feel like we've gotten so many like nuggets from this conversation, and it's gonna kind of help us and even our listeners.
This is gonna help everybody.
Like there's so many nuggets that we got from this conversation that literally could just help people really
so excited.
Make one big step. So tell us how we can follow you.
So if you're following me personally, I keep it very simplistic. Everything on social media is Latoya Hurley. It's my full name.
Okay.
So, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, it's Latoya Hurley. If you're looking for the business, it's Innovative Marketing Group. And the business page is on Instagram, Facebook, and then also LinkedIn.
Okay. Perfect.
Oh, she got it.
She got it. Thank you so much, Latoya Hurley.
Thank you guys for having me.
You're kicking it with G on your favorite station.
The perfect station.
92 KELZ, the only station with new music, new artists, new sound.